Holy moly. There we go. All right, let's see if anybody is on. Hello, Nico. How are you? So, I know I ended abruptly yesterday. I don't know if we wanted to try to do this in recursion, because actually the more that I thought about it, we couldn't do this in recursion as a recursive problem right now because I'm flipping this back and forth every single time. So I think Vinky had a solution of possibly just iterating through here, and as we iterate through, I guess we don't flip it around, but all right, we can talk about that in a few minutes. So in today's problem, I just kind of found one last night. Let's look at it. It's called +1. So it's an interesting argument. You're given a large integer represented as a integer array digits, where each digit I is the ith digit of the integer. The digits are ordered from the most significant to the least significant in left to right order. The large integer does not contain any leading zeros, so that's a plus, I guess. Increment the large integer by 1 and return the resulting array of digits. So, all right. If you're given 1, 2, 3, you need to then output an array of 1, 2, 4. Okay, that seems pretty all right, except when you get to this. So, what my brain says, now it's going to be slow and bad, but, oh, I moved this. I got to put this one in here. Cut. There we go. All right. Hope everyone is doing well today. We have a couple people dropping in. I would love for you all to tell me what time it is where you are, just so I can get an idea. And if you've not hit that like button, go ahead and do that for me. So first, what comes to mind is we need to take these integers, and I guess what I'm first thinking is we convert them to strings, concatenate it, add 1, do an evaluation on it, and then put it back, then split it, turn it back into an integer. No, we'd have to leave it as a string. All right, so let's go through it. So if you're just joining us today, we're working on Leetcode problem 66, and it's called +1. So here's an example, and I think we need to do, let me get my voice warmed up, and we'll probably record a video. I've got to do one for LinkedIn. I'm terrified of putting one on LinkedIn, I think. I've told everyone here about that. Oh, and we also passed 13,000 subscribers yesterday or the day before. I forget. So thank you, everyone, because most of the growth has come from the live stream. So if you're jumping in and out of here, thank you very much. I need to have something in the background. So yay 2000, yay 2000K, or 13K, yay to 13K. There we go. All right. I was talking to my forget who I was talking to the other day, and they said, you just can talk for 2 hours? I said, well, I didn't just start. I started doing these videos a long time ago, 7 years ago, and then have just become more comfortable. And it's just like a lecture. So I've given tutorials. I've been in class. I've taught STEM sessions where that's all I do all day is just teach the same lesson. And I've impressed a couple of teachers. They're like, "You doing okay? You've talked all day." That's all I do. And in my old life, that's all I would do is just coach up, talk, ask questions, answer questions, all sorts of things. So, all right. So what comes to mind right now is we're going to take this array. Let's do the first one, digits. Good day. Thank you, Venky, and good day to you. So, all right. I don't know if you've seen and you've seen this so far. So, what digits. So I might steal Venky's list comprehension because that's what I'm thinking right now. List. So it'd be concatenate, digits equals str I for I in digits. Then digits, no. This is going to be so slow, but I think it's going to work. All right, so then we go. Let me try to get this out of my head. So then right now, let's put this together. Let's always do print digits. And boom. So now I have these strings. So now I can go and do digits equals dot join digits. There we go. Eval. Will this work? Let's try this. Hang on. So right now, let's stop. Let's do this one. I think I have everything unmuted on digits. Dot join dot digits. Here we go. Join plus, what does it need to be? Eval. So I need to have it needs to be one concurrent string. 1, 2, 3 plus 1. Let me get that out of the way. Sorry, everybody. All right. So I need to concatenate. This is a string. Come on. So right now, string. Yeah, here we go. This is what I want. A variable. This is what I want. This should work. F string, F string, F string. Okay, what am I missing? F string expecting a close. F string expecting a close. I'm passing in a string. I have. What am I missing? Am I missing my structure? All right, so we're gonna do this an unfancy way. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. We're gonna do this a very, very ugly way, which I do not like. Oh, got rid of that. So now digits is this. Plus. And then +1. So digits. Bear with me. I know this is ugly. I do not like this. All right, cool. Remember, get it to work first. Get it to work first, and then do it. All right, so now that I got that out of my head, let's go through. So on 1558, I'm taking my array that I get. I'm going through it. And then I'm converting each of them into a string with list comprehension. So then what I'm doing is then I'm taking it and I'm turning it into a string. So I've added now this step. So digits is now a string of my numbers. All right. So now I knew in the back of my head, I had my destination, didn't quite know how I was going to get there. So I knew I was going to use the evaluate function. So let's look at it. So sometimes you have your destination, you just don't know your course, your path, however you want to think about it. All right. So eval. So you're given a string, and then it outputs. It understands operators. It understands digits, and it will then give you an output. So let's see. What does it return? I don't see. Does it actually return something? Hang on one second. I did not respond. There we go. Sorry. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm trying to be more active on LinkedIn because I know that's going to be the only. I know that's going to be the thing that's going to get me in front of people to get me a job. All right. So I don't want to miss out anything, and especially I have lots of alerts for jobs that are posting. I've also been reading a lot that being one of the first to apply is vital. Applied for one, and I watched, and it was already closed in under like 6 hours. The job post. I was like, whoa! I wondered how many applications they had gotten. I don't think I could be a talent person or a hiring manager. I don't think I want that stress. So all right, I knew I was going to get this eval right here. So for it to be evaluated, the whole contents need to be a string. So that's why I'm doing this ugliness right here. And I really couldn't figure out why I couldn't put this inside an F string. It didn't like that earlier. So +1 here. We can skip a step. There we go. So I've got this at the end plus boom. So now I need to put this back inside an array. And I think that'll be pretty easy. So let's do this. And then we'll see if we can speed this up. Or Venki, do you have a possible solution that is quicker than this and fewer steps? Because I believe this is. And hello to you. What we're solving today is we're looking at Leetcode 66. And what it is it's kind of an interesting problem. We're given an array of integers, and we need to then act like it is a digit, a integer concatenated. And is Venki? Is that the solve, Venki? I don't want to look. Oh, is that for you? Oh, I'm sorry. I missed your comment yesterday. If you're not on Discord, you're missing out on a lot. So sorry, I'm taking a peek over. Venki sent something through on Discord. You asked me a question about a char 65 minus char 65 plus 1. This works if iterate in a loop. I would think so. And then you sent me a power. Oh, nice. Len minus 1. Yes. Okay, I like that. And then we could do that as recursion, but we wouldn't flip it. I don't think we'd. No, that's all very good. So, all right, if you haven't, like I said, if you haven't joined Discord, you are missing out on a lot of support. Not yet. I was figuring out the recursion for yesterday. Got it. So, but today, what we're looking at, that awesome work, Venki. I like that. Just need to increment last digit. Yes, but this, of course, is where Leetcode goes in. Then, if you were to look at this, correct, or create it. So there's a possible solution to do something like that, but Leetcode is going to come up with. I love the. I don't know if it's all individuals who are able to come up with all these outliers. Yes, I thought the same thing until they give you this one right here. So it would be what 99. I can already see this 9999. What would you do? You'd have to test all of those. So that's why my brain goes to convert them all to strings, concatenate them, evaluate it, then undo it. So right now I've converted, concatenated, plus 1, and then now I'm going to undo it. So now I need to convert this all into a string, then split it, and then, okay, so convert, so plus 1. I think we can do this all on one line. Let's see, does this work? Plus. All right. So now, yeah, that works. Okay. Because I tried to embed this inside an F string, and it didn't like it. And I wonder, make it a string and then int, then increment back to string. Bingo. That's that's what I'm planning on doing. So let's see if that'll work. And everyone do me a favor. So like, so if 99 is such turns into 100, not bing. Exactly. That's what we need to guard against. And I'm sure they threw us a little bit of a bone and they gave us a single 9. You're like, oh, I know how to defend against this. No, I already can see them being 9999999. What would you do? You'd have to do all sorts of checks. But everyone do me a favor. If you've not hit the like button, go ahead and do that for me. So, all right. Let's see. We have people joining, and awesome. So we haven't had anybody join in a while. We are at 323 on Discord. So thank you, everyone, for doing that. And I really appreciate grow in the community so everyone has the support that they need and can go and ask, I'm thinking about just using split. Yes, that's exactly where I'm going, and I'm wondering if we can continue to just do this on one line, because since this is a string, we should be able to then do split here. Oh, no, we need a delimiter. I did that yesterday. So, no, we're going to need to do this. I don't want to do this all on one more line, but we'll stay with plus. So, here we are. I for int I for I in plus, print plus. We should be done now. There we are. Does everyone know, has everyone seen this before with list comprehension? So I basically did the exact same thing here, turning them into strings, then joining them, then converting them back to a string, then iterating through that string. So here, let's go back. Let's block this out. So for split, you need to have a delimiter. So since there's no spaces, so you need to give it a character to split it up. So let's go over here. So if I were to do name dot split what on what. Now watch this. What am I thinking? Oh, name equals S A M name dot split. And let's look at help on str dot split. Sep, so you have sep delimiter, the sep delimiter, which is a string. None defaults means split on white space. So it actually has to have a character that it's going to look for. So if I were to pass in a, hang on, I'm trying to figure out if I need to go check on something for a second. So if I were to, let's go back to name equals SAM, then name dot split A. It's going to split on the A. So what we had to do here is I'm iterating through. So right now plus is, oops, let's go back, run this. Plus is this. So for I in plus print I. So this, since it's a string, it's an iterable, it's a sequence. So it's like not all strings are digits, but all digits are strings, because a digit is an A, and they chose that word on purpose. So let's come up here. Because a digit, an integer is a number. A digit is a integer represented as a string. I think I said that right. So a digit can go back and forth from an int and a string, but it is a number. Because we saw with evaluate, Nico, what's Nico got? Let's see what Nico has. Why can't I find... I gotcha. Well, that's, you just have to, that's why you can hang out with us all day. All right. Let's see. So we're back to here. So, all right, let's go through this step again. So right now, plus is a integer. Excuse me, it's a string. So it's a sequence, so I can iterate through it. So I throw it into list comprehension, and as I'm iterating through my string with my variable, my intermittent, my temporary variable, I'm casting it as I didn't realize that was casting until I started doing SQL. And you use cast so much because SQL seems to be less forgiving about types of variables. They seem to be constantly converting, especially dates and strings and date times, and it's awful. It's awful. It's awful. All right, so here we are. I think we're done. Let's double check. Yeah. Let's try these and see what happens. Two. Yep. And then let's try 9. Make sure it works. There we go. All right. So let's throw this into Leetcode and see what crazy. This needs to be returned. So let's do right here. 4 lines. That's not bad. Still feel like that's a little janky. And let me code over. I really don't know why I have to have, if it's in a function, I have to have it all with no spaces. But if it's not in a function, I like space. As my daughter pointed out last night, she goes, "You're really weird." I'm like, "Yes, I am." All right, so I passed case 1, 2, and 3, which we knew. We just tested those. So now I'm going to submit this. I was expecting this to be a little bit, got 32 milliseconds. Let's see. And 81%. I think everyone can see that. All right. Do we want to, that white sure does change everything. I said I was going to record earlier. I guess it's Wednesday. I know I need to record some more videos. Oh, I started working on a data engineering certification. And PySpark's a little crazy. I thought I knew everything about GCP, but there is a lot of functionality in Google Cloud, the Google Cloud portal. Not just BigQuery. I guess I was so naive. I think they had our access scaled down where we could only access BigQuery and didn't have access to all the analytics and data proc and being able to set up anything and run PySpark. But PySpark was kind of cool. I played around with that yesterday. But all right, so we're right here. Why didn't that? There we go. Right here, and memory is pretty good. So let me run it again and see what happens. Let me check chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. So laugh. Did that make sense? Did I answer this well enough? Why split isn't going to work? I think I flew right by that. So, all right. So we have a lot of time to use up today. Is there anything anyone wants to talk about? Because I know I need to. Let's see how. I haven't even looked at yesterday's video of how it did. Should probably record one for 13,000. So if you're just joining us today, we've passed 13K. We have 13,003. I saw on Free Code Camp, I saw their post that they just passed 10 million subscribers. I went back and looked at my playlists on there, and that has 407K on those views and 1 million on my channel. But they have a lot more traction and a lot more eyeballs. Okay. Yesterday's video is doing okay. It's not great, but it is, its click-through is 2.3. That's actually pretty good for me because I'm usually down around the 1%. So, Venki, did you have this solve for recursion? Because we could do len minus 1. So we get rid of this. So if you did not see yesterday's stream was actually cool. And Venki helped me do the math with this. Venki helps me a lot. So props to Venki. Venki's able to do a lot of solutions that I can't visualize sometimes. And actually, that was one thing I did want to talk about. What if we have 2 lists and have to carry the last digit? Okay, all right. So, send me an example in Discord. I think maybe we need to submit. That would be cool if we need to. We should start submitting ideas over on Leetcode. So all right. So what if we have 2 lists and have to carry? Okay. So we're given 2 lists. We have to concatenate, add them together, and turn them into a list. Try infinite loop. What is that? Karthik? Or Kartik? Is it Karthik or Kartik? But glad to have you here. Let's see. Infinite loop. You just talking about getting stuck in an infinite loop? Like while true, print 1, print hey. You talking about this? If I can type today. Talking about that? Talking about something like that? Alright. Venki had a cool idea. So if we're given 2 lists, add them together or carry 1. Given 2 lists, convert them into a string, and then return back the list. So we'd need to be able to take 2 or infinite, an unknown number of lists. Pass in a list of lists. You have no idea how many args are there. Let's see. All right, like 99 and 99. So if we were to be given 2 lists, so digits, okay, digits 1, digits 2, something like this. Why is that the same? Okay. 9, like that. And we need to add them together. Is that what you're thinking? I kind of like it. And just come up with some crazy scenario because somebody's going to try to go, oh, just increment the last number, which is exactly what I thought until you get down to here, this edge case testing. All right. I was just thinking about it. Who brought the parentheses problem that we looked at weeks and weeks ago? Did we start that in No results. Let me look at the other chat. I know we did a couple streams on it, and I really annoyed everybody that we kept working on it. So I learned that a day of one subject is about what everybody will tolerate. All right, let's see. Yep. Now you have to carry on 2 of them. Oh, so would we want to just add the 2 lists together? Because I guess when we have the structure, morning Dax, hello. So Vinky and I are kind of brainstorming right now about a possible other solution, but we just came up with a solve for Leetcode 66 plus 1. So the premise was you were going to be given a list of integers. You then had to treat it as it were an integer and increment by 1. So your integers were 1, 2, and 3. You had 3 objects, 3 integers, and it read them as if they were 1 and increase by 1. So you might go at first and go, oh, I just take the last digit and increment by 1. Except where Leetcode does their exceptional cracking of issues. You were given a 9 and your output needed to be 1 and a 0. Which then, once I saw that, I was like, okay, if you incremented then over, I could see then their list being 9999999. You'd have to do so many checks. So what we did is we moved through, we converted it into, we used list comprehension to convert each integer into a digit, and then we concatenated. Then we converted it to a string to use the evaluation function, whilst also turning it back into a string. Then, since it was a string and a sequence, we iterated through using list comprehension and then converting each of them back to their original form as a integer in an array. And it was a pretty good solution. It beat 81%, and it was about 69% of the memory too. Let's see what one of the better solutions were. I got in the second to last bucket. So let's see what this solution is. This was the fastest. Let's see what they did. Copy. Let's bring this over. Make me able to read this. All right. So the length of the digits. So they are. Okay. What are they doing here? If digit I. So they're iterating through the length of the digits. So they're going in reverse order. So I know they're going in reverse order because the step is -1. And they're going from the last. I hate it when I do that. They're going from the last item They're going from the first item to the last item. No, they're not. Because this is... Well, now I want to see what this is doing because I can't visualize this. Well, now I want to see what this does. Print I. So it is going in reverse order. Why couldn't I see that? Oh, -1 going to 0. Got it. So the last digit. So, all right. So taking the len, and to remind you about indexing and out of range and things like that. What about converting? Oh, that, yeah, yes, DEX. That's actually exactly what we did right here. We did that right there. I was looking at why this is faster. I can't, this just seems so much slower. So yeah, I was just looking at what got scored higher on the Leetcode. They did this solution said it was in 14 milliseconds. So less than half. So more than twice as fast. And digit insert, it just seems, I guess I'm touching the entire list. So they're saying, so they're okay. So the time complexity here is they're just going through it once, where we're going 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, so I'm touching the entire list 4 times, because that's one thing I'm actually trying to really truly improve upon is time complexity. So the last digit is less than 9, increment 1, else 0. Yes, that's exactly what they're doing, and then moving over 1. So they're literally, but I thought that would be more of a problem, because I bet if we were to have something in check, I bet they have a 999. I bet they have like 9 with like 12 nines on it. So or 100 nines, and I'm just touching this list over and over. So I have what? O of n. It's linear. Log n. ln of O. Okay, hang on. Binky just sent something on Discord. So again, if you're not on Discord, you're missing all this awesomeness. What is this? 11 milliseconds? You have to be on a different server. So I'm looking at your fastest. So there's someone with, which a lot of people have 11 milliseconds. Look at that spike. But if you look at all the way to the left, 4 milliseconds, 3 milliseconds, 2 milliseconds. So each of those is a millisecond gap. So on mine, let's see. On mine, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. It only goes down to 14 milliseconds is the fastest. So the only thing I can think of is we have to be on different servers. So they have more servers around the planet, and you're on a different server. Or are you on mobile when you did that? That's the only thing I can think of why they would need to be having a different server. Possibly. All right. I do like this solution. I didn't think about it because I thought this would be more complex. But I do get this. If digit I is 9, roll it up to 10, insert 1, else 1. And it's faster than my solution because I'm touching the list repeatedly. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So I'm much slower. So all right, I get that, and that is a gap in my, because I'm still so programmed, get it to work. I feel like I've done something similar to this. Oh yeah, I did a solution like this. One of my first ones that I worked alone, when I was triggering a workflow to constantly look at the previous month. So I did something exactly like that. So that's actually a pretty good, interesting exercise. So let's actually talk about that for a second. So how does a human being know what month to go back and look at the previous month? And this took me a minute. So you have to know what this month is. So let's just assume you have a way to find the current month. So what I did was I took the current month and I looked back at the previous month. So now I had a database. So let's kind of talk about this. No. So I had a database. Not that. I had a database that had a couple years of records. That's not the couple of years of records. That's an R. Yeah, that looks like an R now. So at first I go, okay, I need to find the max month. Well, if it's years of records, all 12 months are there. All 12. So then I go, all right, so wait a minute. So I need to find the max year. So out of the max year, then I find the max month. So I made a subquery to pull in the records from the max year, where it was only the max records. So basically the max year became this year. Because the max year would be the current records dated. Now, do not go to the calendar. If your company has a calendar database, do not do that, because calendar databases go out years and years. I think ours went to like 2,500. Don't know why, but it was already done. It was already done. So then I took this subquery, and then I found the max. I pulled out the max. Yeah, pulled out the max month out of this. So all right. So now I had my current month. Out of the max year, I grabbed the max month. Now this is where it got interesting, and it took me a minute to figure this out. So I say, okay, so if it is the max month, I take this, so then I take month minus 1. That was cool until it was January. Then it got to January, and I was like, why isn't this working? There is no month 0. There is no month 0. So, all right. Well, let me stop talking about that, because I just ran off. See, I have to find a delicate balance between what I think is interesting and what everyone... Like, I thought that was extremely interesting, but I think I just ran off everybody. So, all right, let's find another challenge, and let's go from there. I really thought... I guess I knew we'd figure it out, but I didn't think... I was expecting Leetcode to really have... it to have a really crazy curveball there. All right. And of course, here's a faster solution. It's a little bit more elegant, but again, get it done, get it working, and then go from there. So, all right. And thank you, everyone, if you have watched the published videos that I also put out in addition to all the live streams. I really appreciate it. And if you're just joining, past 13,000 subscribers on the channel. So thank you all very much. And if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do that for me as well. So all right, let's go ahead and find another challenge. Anybody have an idea of one that would be cool. But Vinky, do you remember who brought the parenthesis problem? I can't recall, and I did it for a minute. Oh, it was interesting to you. Oh, the database. Yeah, I'll find the link for it because I made a video for it, but I have to do a delicate balance between. I thought it'd be an easy conversion from SQL and pandas, but there are not very many people who are interested in pandas and are interested in SQL. I thought it would be the same, that same bucket, same type of thing, but it does not. So all right, so Dax, so I'll finish this up. You've been around a long time, so we will finish this up. So what I had to do was, when I ran into this solution, so in a typical situation, unless the current month, if the current month wasn't 1, we subtracted 1 from it. If it was 1, what I had to do was I had to convert it to 12 and then take year minus 1. So this is a perfect example of, and actually understanding the anatomy of your object. Actually, I want to make this, so bear with me for 1 second. I've been having this thought, and I haven't typed it down or written it down or dictated it anywhere. Your brain is doing more work than you think. Your brain is doing more work than you think. Yep. Okay. So I'll talk about that in a second. So these are video ideas that I want to do that I think are pretty interesting, and I have to name them this way, and I'm trying to understand because like this right here has a lot to do with the more you understand the object, the more of a senior you can act or be, because you'll understand how it's going to act, how it's going to interact, the type of things that it can do, the anatomy. I mean, yeah, the 100%. What is it capable of doing? So, all right. So back to this right here. So this is a perfect example of our brain goes, oh, I need to go back a month. And if I'm flipping the calendar and I go, I'm at January, I understand, I instinctively, without thinking, I go, hey, I'm at January. I need to get last year's calendar. Okay, well, whoa. Slow down. How did you know that? And our brains make that leap. It's like, oh, well, it's logical. No, you think it's logical. Your brain is so powerful. It's doing so many things. Like I said the other day about what an illusionist exploits with the gaps that our brain does. So the reason why programming is so challenging is that you're not actually understanding all the minute details that your brain is doing with designing an algorithm. You go, okay, I'm at February, I go back to the previous month, I flip the calendar. Okay, that's logical. And you're like, the previous month. Well, the previous month, except if it's the beginning of the year. What does that mean, beginning of the year? A computer doesn't know beginning of the year. It knows a month, subtract 1, because you just told it to. And then it goes, well, I know I need to go back to, I need to get last year's calendar because I'm at January. All a computer knows is I had these in order, and then the building blocks of rules that I have goes 12/31 of the year, and then I start back over at 1/1. Don't know why. I just know that's a rule. But you can put those in sequential order. But your brain is doing so much more. So don't let it take a leap. Was that Janth? Janth had the parentheses? We haven't seen Janth in a long time. I don't think that's exactly right. I wasn't sure if it was Janth or Portrait. But awesome, Venki. Thank you so much, Venki. I need to look. So that means that was just in chat, because I don't think I've seen Janth in Discord. Because I did a search in both general chat under Python chat channels and general chat under the chat room, and I didn't find Of course, I can't spell parentheses either, so I did not see either one. All right, so back to here. Hang on a second. I don't know if this. Let me see if this is an important text. It's not, but I need to look at it later. All right. Oh, but hey, do me a favor and hit the like button. So when I had this trigger, if month 1, do all sorts of stuff. Else if month 1, change the year, change the month to 12, take the year -1. Else month let's erase that. And month -1. There we go. So it was a very interesting concept, and the business partner that I was working with, they were floored. They were floored that I was able to automate this, because they were spending so much time, because also this query that they had created was this monstrosity, and they had to go in and change all these dates. Well, I turned them all into variables, because I put them into that's the cool thing about Python and Pandas. I was able to take the SQL, turn it into an F string, and then load up all the variables that we had, and the dates were variables, so it was constantly just going back, finding the max, minusing 1. So, and in SQL you can't, especially in BigQuery, you can set up, you can declare variables. Can't do that in all SQL. Dax, do you do a lot with SQL, or are you just on the visual side, and you get handed the data, or do you have to manipulate any of it? Because I think before you got here we were talking about casting, and how how much I had to learn about casting, especially dates, going to string and then date time and then back, and then yeah, I hate dates with a passion. Dax may had to drop to do to do real work instead of just hanging out with us. All right. So before I go and pick some random thing to talk about, or some random puzzle to solve, is there anything anyone is really struggling with that NoSQL, mainly Power Query? Okay. That's in Power BI. I don't know anything about that. I've saw a lot of jobs for Power BI or Tableau. And then NoSQL. I don't know what everybody's so obsessed with NoSQL. It's just a JSON. Unless it's more sophisticated, and again, it's back, your brain is doing more, and there's more to it. But NoSQL just seems like a JSON object to me. But I may be missing something, and it may be more like a data frame. So not to speak ill of anybody who uses it's crazy cool. Okay, that I'll have to take a peek at it. Is there anything before I pick some random challenge, or I guess Vinky, would this be worth while? I mean, this would just build a function, we just do this and add two of them together, and then put it back into a list. I mean, we just kind of figured out BigQuery. Yes, BigQuery is very impressive, and especially how fast it is. I haven't used BigQuery, well, except for yesterday, but I was on somebody else's account. I was on Coursera's account. I don't know how much they were paying for it, but the connectivity that Walmart had with BigQuery was unbelievable. You ever seen data discovery? Data discovery is awful. Very slow. That was my first experience. I had to start to write things in data discovery. Oh my gosh, that was awful. That was so bad. All right. And then I got spoiled with dbeaver. That we were using Azure databases, and we used dbeaver to connect to it. Oh, that was sweet. That was very cool. I got spoiled with that too, and then going back and forth. I would test it in BigQuery and then run it in Dataiku for the jobs that I actually had to run, because Dataiku was connected to BigQuery. So had a bunch of cool tools. I was very, very fortunate. Now I just got to talk somebody else into interviewing me. All right. Since there's nothing pressing, let's go ahead, because we've only been on for an hour. And then I got to head to the gym and do errands and finish up my day. Oh, man. Forgot to do something that I swore I was going to do before I started streaming. But it is what it is. Hour and 4 minutes. All right, let's see how the lighting is. I'm not feeling any of these right now. And I know I need one for LinkedIn, because I've been doing a couple posts on LinkedIn, and they're getting seen, but it's not. Wait a minute, is this the parenthesis problem? That is the parenthesis problem. Oh my gosh, there it is. Still don't have a solve for that. I don't know if anybody else ended up solving it. I don't remember. Do we have the number that it is? No, I don't. Okay. All right. So let's go and find us a new... I'm doing... What I'm doing DSA and Java. Can I shift in Python, and in what time? Oh, so that's actually that's another video idea. Programming is nothing more than solving a problem. I don't like that title. All right. Yes, if you can program, you can learn. Look, a programming language, if you can speak, if you can speak and you have a good memory, you can learn another language. I have a horrible memory. That's why learning another language is so challenging to me. But all right, so I actually argue if you can know any other language, you can learn Python. I believe Python is closer to human think, and it is more readable, and that's actually what it was designed for. Do I know Minecraft? I know of Minecraft. I think I've maybe played some. My kids do the dyslexic and ADHD and 36-year-old video. Okay, that's actually not a bad idea, because if I sit here and make this list, this is going to fall into my analysis paralysis, and I'm just going to get stuck, and I'm just going to make a list of videos instead of making videos. So actually, after I finish this thought, we'll make that video, and then I may size that. I don't know what it is about the LinkedIn videos that I'm terrified about. I got a bunch of reasons, but I'm just making excuses now. But all right, I digress. So being able to learn another programming language. So I have taught a lot of people how to program in Python. And the people that I have taught how to program the fastest are people who have already learned, have already learned a previous programming language. So all you would have to be finishing, and who was that asked so I can speak? You speak data, yes. Data will likely get your next. Yes, that's kind of the goal, and I guess I'm shocked by how much data engineering work I was doing at my previous job. When I started doing more research into that blew me away. But all right, let me Jim Sheed. All right, back to the question. Learning a different programming language, because you've already learned. If you're good at Java, can I solve problems in Java? Am I a good programmer? Don't get hung up on the language. The language is just the syntax. So it would be like, well, here, it's like this. So here's one person's interpretation. Here's my interpretation. Okay, that's an interesting idea, Nico. I don't know what problems I'll be solving with that. So, Nico, what I want you to think about is what problem interests you, a real problem. What is something that somebody if you don't have a problem that you're trying to solve, find somebody who has a problem that they just have so much email that they just can't go through. Write a program to handle that for them. Build something that fixes a problem for you or someone else, and you'll be shocked what you'll learn from it. But the syntax. If you can solve this, if you can go, all right, what was my problem here? What is this problem? If you can logically articulate how you want to do this, learning the Python syntax to do this is simple. Going and understanding the anatomy of what a list is. I mean, you don't have to be able to know how to do this with list comprehension. You can do this with a for loop. But if you're able to program and solve a problem with programming, with logical micro steps of following instructions, if this, if this, if this, if this, if you can do that, and hey, Nico, what can you teach me how does the, for example? Elaborate, Nico. We may need to chat offline in Discord. I'm not quite following you. But if you're able to solve the problem and break it down in an order of operations, just like a cooking recipe, if you think about it, I've read one argument that a cooking recipe is an algorithm to a degree, but there's no decision point in a cooking algorithm in a recipe. There is no decision matrix if this happens, because that's what I believe separates a recipe to a true algorithm. How you look Python in the next few years? Well, AI is gonna be an assistant. I mean, it's an extension of the computer. Yeah, we can start doing some really big building blocks, but I mean, AI. If sauce is thick, add water. I guess, yeah. You know what? Okay, all right, Dax. Hat tip to you. If sauce is thick, add water. Okay. Until and then there is boil until thick. All right. I yield that point. Very, very, very good point. Dax has pointed out that in recipes there is at times decisions that happen, and you have to then have a feeling for it. And also, like if you measure flour, you never pack in the flour. You learn that from experience, and it's intuitive. It is understood. In programming, there is no understood. It's going to do exactly like you think. My favorite thing to have a young person is when they say, it did it wrong. I love it. I laugh inside. Sometimes I laugh out loud. But the program is going to do exactly what you tell it to do. Now, did it not do what you were expecting? Bingo. That's the statement. It didn't do as I was expecting. Like, can I do what it tell and do the base on documents, and then documentation can be broken into interpretive. Nico, we may need to chat on Discord because I'm not quite following what you're saying. So basically, to answer your question, if you can program in any language, you can learn another language. That's basically because it's an extension of the syntax. So the more Python I learn, and the syntax and the type of variables and what I can do with an object and how it's going to solve my problem, it's just another tool in your toolbox. So if you know how to program and you know, well, I'm going to do it with this, then you can easily type in, hey, how do I use this tool in Python like I did in Java? That is the simplest. That is the now except for a loop. I hate loops in Visual Basic. I hate them with a passion. You have to declare a variable. I tried to avoid using them because they were awful when I had to program in VB for this last application that I was finishing up. I hated iterating through. The arrays were okay. They were sloppy. The one thing that I did love about VB, Visual Basic, was that it didn't care. It knew it was a digit. So you could declare a integer, set it. Oh, and you also had to declare. You had dim, blah, 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 say is the name of the variable and then what type. Hated that. But it viewed a integer as a digit. So it could go back and forth. It could be it was a string and a integer at the same time. So you could print it in a string, or you could do addition or a mathematical operation to the digit, and you didn't have to convert it at all. That was the one plus, and we did work with a lot of digits. So, all right. I probably just chewed up a lot of time. So that was a long-winded answer for if you can program, you can program. It does not matter the language. It's just syntax. Programming is problem solving and being able to articulate a set of instructions. The language is just the syntax, how you'll go about doing this. So I did this in a list comprehension. They did this in a for loop. Same basic structure with a little bit of tweaking. So, all right. I think actually we're about to do dyslexic, ADHD, and 36 years old. So if there's nothing pressing right now, we'll pause here for the stream. You'll watch me record. I don't know if anybody really likes that or not, but you'll kind of see my demeanor change, my pitch, and my tone, because I think I've talked about that for a little bit, is that I've found that you really need to raise. I wonder how I come across in the stream, but you really have to be elevated in the videos for it to come across just normal. So if I were to sit here and talk like this, it just is very monotone and it's awful to listen to. So you have to be very, very excited, very, very elevated, and then it comes across as normal. probably the most interesting thing that I've learned about recording. So, all right, let me check. And we've picked up a bunch of subscribers. So thank you all for doing that and subscribing. 13,005. And we've already picked up, I think, 6 during this live stream. So thank you very much. And the click-through rate on the last video. So, all right, let me get ready. And anything pressing before I start rambling on about during the video? All right. And Nico, I'd be more than happy to help you with anything since I have so much time on my hands these days. And my watch is yelling at me that I've been sitting too long. Let's see. Let's see. Don't know what that is. Got a weird alert. All right. Move this all down here. Why is that? There we go. All right. Let me get everything set up. Check the lighting. Make sure that it's okay. How bad are the teeth? I will not try to show the teeth that much. Anybody see any light? All right. Whoa. Okay, I almost knocked that over. See, it's also fall, and this is actually when my YouTube channel is usually grown the most, and that's actually one I need to do. Starting to learn to program. All right. Because I don't want to do 5 videos this week and then fall off and do 2. So that's what a lot of people do. They get so excited, and I was guilty of this too. You're so excited, and you'd come up with 10 video ideas, and then after that you don't have any. So being consistent is the biggest part. If anyone here wants to start a YouTube channel, just be consistent. Okay, so what? 36, dyslexic, ADHD, dyslexic, and 36 years old. 36, dyslexic, ADHD, and 36. What sounds better? What's a better order? What sounds worse? Dyslexic, 36, dyslexic. Yeah, 36. Okay. Dyslexic, 36, dyslexic with 80. There we go. I like that. 30-year-old dyslexic with ADHD. Boom. All right. Let's go. Let's do this. If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and hit the like button for me. All right. All right. 36 years old. Stop. 36-year-old. 36-year-old. 36-year-old dyslexic with ADHD. Hi, everybody. This is Sam with Python Basics. So, all right, let's kind of talk about this. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. This is what we do. We do micro videos, 1 video at a time. And the micro video idea, I'm not smart enough to come up with that. Actually came up with that from the audience. So if you're new here, this is all we do, 1 video at a time. Thanks for joining us. So let's talk about me. So you're probably found this channel because you're like, I really want to learn to program. Can I learn to program? I promise you, if I can learn to program, I started programming in Python at 36 years old. I'm a dyslexic with ADHD. And I promise if I can do this, you can do it. You can follow the channel along. You can start at the beginning. There's 1,100 videos. We have a Discord. Go ahead and join the Discord down below. Unbelievable amount of support over there. We've been doing live streams during the week. So if you have time during the day, try to check some of those out. We just spend time problem solving. We're always focused on the details. We're always focused on the building blocks and the basics of Python. And I promise, this is a place that you can come and you're able to ask questions. You won't be judged. We support beginners. We encourage beginners to join here. So please, 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 if this is something you even kind of think you maybe, sort of, maybe want to do, join this channel, hang out with this community, and we'll give you the support and answer the questions that you need to get you on your journey to change everything about yourself, your life, and the path that you're on. So please make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribe button, so you're not missing out on any of these videos. Make sure you're joining Discord to get the support that you need and deserve. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. All right, that was about not 90 seconds, but I think that was, felt like that was pretty okay. All right. Ooh, 36-year-old dyslexic programmer with ADHD. Okay. I'll think about that. All right, we just had somebody else join. That's awesome. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate that. But the real point of this is to build a support system. I appreciate everyone being here because of what it's going to do for someone else. So I can't say this enough, and if you haven't heard this before, if you have a question and you're not sure and you want to ask it, please ask it, because somebody else who is really uncomfortable, don't say you're stupid or dumb, not true. Don't say you're stupid or dumb, not true. Did I say that in the video? Because I guess I do that. It is disarming, and I do know what you're saying. It's an attempt to make other people comfortable who are not sure about themselves. So it's almost like when somebody says, "I'm not that smart." If you're in a room and somebody says they're not that smart, you're already behind. So stop talking because more than likely they're the smartest person in the room and they're trying to get you I appreciate that. They're trying to maybe even set a trap, but they're really trying to get your attention to get you to learn something. No. I understand. I appreciate all the encouragement. So let me actually talk about that for a second. And it's been this journey that I've been on, and because I couldn't figure out why I could do such really, really smart things and such poor things. How about we use that as a term? And what it was, well, that's all relative, Nico. You're probably look at it more as skills than raw ability. Hang on, let me make sure I stopped the recording. Okay. Don't look at it as raw ability, because raw ability can be learned. So what my superpower is I never give up. I learned that a long time ago. So I learn slow. That is not a negative to me. I just know I have to outrun you. Ooh, this lighting is getting really goofy, making my eyes look weird. I need to go back and look at that video and make sure that it wasn't doing the same thing. I know the teeth are showing up. All right, but what was I talking about? Being able to outlast somebody. I just know that I just have me showing up every day, like these live streams. Me doing the work every day, showing up every day. That's all. It's kind of like parenting. just showing up every day is like 90% of the problem. It solves 90% of the problem. And then also I became obsessed with over preparedness, which is an untrue statement. You can never become over prepared. And actually, that made me think about we may have 2 weeks of videos. I need to make, because this communication understanding the topic. So this is what I'm unbelievably exceptional with. And this is when I stopped. This was my epiphany of, I was like, why wasn't I uncomfortable during this one meeting? There was this kind of breakthrough because I knew more about the subject than everybody in the room. Because I had swim around in these tables more than the senior manager who had them built and designed. And it was just because I use the term care, as long as you're moving forward your goals. Yes, 100%. You can't. Yes, I agree with that. You can be, yes, analysis paralysis. 100%. I lived too long in training instead of moving forward. I agree with that too. I 100% agree with that. You can overtrain instead of do. Yes. So that's that knife's edge of where you're walking and you're over. And I guess so to clarify, the over preparing is you can never I'll rephrase. That's a very good call out. You can never understand a topic too much. Yes, 100% form of, because it's perfect. So procrastination, I don't know, Dax, if you'll agree with this, but I could not understand my effort of procrastination and laziness until I was reading something, probably more than likely saw a video, and then read some, and then probably watched more videos, to be 100% honest. But procrastination is a variation of perfectionism. You're never going to be it's never going to be perfect, so you need to start. So I can straddle all of these worlds because in the old life that I had back in the building in the distribution center, you had to just start. It just had to, just because the movement, the movement of the people was just happening, and you just could not wait. It was coming at you one way or another, and you had to start making decisions. If you didn't, and what then you do is you make a decision, but you do not make an excuse for the decision. You dissect and you want to break down why the decision didn't work. Don't get hung up on right or wrong, but was the outcome what you expected? And then you go from there. People get hung up on right and wrong, and if you do have a leader that says, well, that was wrong, that was wrong, if you can go someplace else, do that. But if you have a leader that says, hey, what could we have done better? Whoo, that's somebody you want to hang out with. All right, so Vanky just sent something. Let's see. All right. I like this. Oh. So you were going to do this inside the lists. So let's see. We have two. Oh, let's just move it over here. So if you're not on Discord, all right, we can look at this for you. All right. So let's see what Venki has. So we have a list A and B. Let's see what list A and B does. Let me move this over. That bothers me. All right. Carry, or result and carry. So result is it all goes into one list. All right. So then carry is 0. What does carry do? Oh, is that rounding? So I carry over a variable. So, all right. For I in range len of A. All right. Then digit A. So I'm incrementing through. So what happens if you have an uneven, unsymmetrical list? Uneven list? So channeling my Leetcode, what happens if len of A is 5 and len of B is 4 or 3 even? What could happen? So all right. So total. So where does carry? Total divided by 10. That's carry. Oh, wait. Okay. So all right. Let's go through. So the way that I like to do this is sometimes if I really can't see this, I'll literally come over here and do this one at a time. So the first time through, this is one. Yeah, I thought about that. Maybe we can reverse it. Or do you remember that one solution that we saw of we go through and we find the max or the min and we iterate through that. So we just are going to find. So I don't know which one it is, but it'll be, so if they're offset or if they're not the same, it would be, let's just say it was min. Did I put this in? I didn't put this in memory yet. All right, F9, A, B. So we could do min of len A and len B. I feel like that would be, so this is a perfect example of the use of a Pythonic tool for a human decision, to mimicking human decision making. Hey, we need to take the smallest one first. Boom. This is an example of one of those decisions. So all right. So the first time through we have 1 and 2. So we've unpacked this because we're doing a range function, so it doesn't have anything declared, so it's index, so it's 0. So then we have in a list. So then we have index 0 is all we always know. I wish you could go highlight columns. So we know it's going to be 1 and 2. So 2. So 1, 2 plus 0. Interesting. All right. Oh, I see what you're doing here. I got it. So then on the round, when you round the corner, you're setting up carry to what to do to the next variable. Oh, I like that. But you were going the wrong way. Aren't we going the wrong way? Because now we're here and we're going to add carry to this. Venki, doesn't this need to be in reverse? Result. So 124 plus 297. Or am I thinking about this wrong? Yeah. I think you're super close. This needs to be in reverse. Did I just reverse something? So yeah. Let's tweak this. Because so everybody know how to reverse in a. All right, so we need to go index the last one. So now I already know, in my experience, no worries. So in my experience, len and index and out of range, and if you haven't experienced out of range issues, you just haven't done enough of iterating through lists. So I have done enough of iterating through lists that I'm gun shy, and I'm like, am I going to be out of range? What do I need to do to be, what do I need to guard against being out of range? Because then you start to see what problems, not result, reverse, because it's supposed to be 421. Because here, you're carrying this the wrong way. You're super close. You're just, here's also an issue. So people assume, they're like, oh, I'm wrong, my logic is wrong. Separate those two. You're not wrong, your logic was wrong. So I want to be correct. I don't want my logic to be correct. I don't need this logic to be correct. I want to be correct. So I change my logic. Start to separate. That's separate. Okay, we may be having videos every day. Separate your ideas from yourself. This took me forever because I was so attached to, I was so insecure and I was so attached to my ideas and my logic. Like sitting here and programming in front of everyone, I would record. If I did do a live session, I would have off to the side everything that I was going to do because I was so terrified about making a mistake. The more you get comfortable, look, I'm weird. We were actually just talking to my daughter about this. I am weird. I am weird. I'm weird. I don't care. I am so interesting because I am so weird. I can fit in anywhere and I can talk to anyone about anything at all on a wide variety of subjects. That's why I'm weird, because I don't fit into anybody's container. So I digress, but I was so insecure for so long that I thought my solutions were me, and they're not. They're just solutions or an attempt at a solution. So if your solution is wrong, that is not you. Fix it. Because you just came up with a very cool solution. So you thought about it back. This is with that step of your brain. Your brain is doing so much work and you just flew right past what you envisioned. I know what you wanted to do. I saw exactly what you wanted to do, and I fell for it. It's like blah blah blah, but we want to start here and then carry over because the math goes we carry this way. So Venki is probably already flipped this around, but if you're super brand new to Python, let's talk about this for a second. So we have for I in range len a close print I, right? So we have 0, 1, 2. But this needs to be the reverse. So now how do we do the reverse? -1. Data people are different. I know I wanted to work where I do because he said that they were the island. Bingo! Oh, I am so obsessed. I am so obsessed with like you take everybody who is like an outcast and you can go through history. Oh, the story of the Dirty Dozen. The actual the real story of the Dirty Dozen. You can go and research this. That colonel, he goes, I don't want anybody who hasn't been in the brig. So he wanted people who were on that edge, who were just edgy enough and just didn't know how to be. And here's another quote. And I became obsessed with this, but people who just don't fit in anywhere, they're going to find a little group and then they're going to do amazing things. I mean, every sports team that you start picking together all of the people who were unwanted and you put them in one place. All right, I'll tell you one more and then the coloring is getting so bad and then we're at an hour and 41. But we'll fix this and we'll go through it. And I had somebody reach out to me who wanted to check on me. So I need to respond to them. actually, it's my jiu-jitsu instructor. I have an infection, and he's checking on me. So that's do something that makes you uncomfortable. Do something that challenges you mentally and physically. I promise. You do that, you won't care what anybody else thinks about you. All right. But the quote that I wanted to talk about, Bobby Bowden. And I became obsessed with this kind of misfit toy concept. But it was, if fine, upstanding young men won national championships, Army and Navy would win every year. He's thought about that for decades. And I've heard other coaches. I know how we're going to do in the year if I get called down to the dorm in the middle. How many times I get called down to the dorm in the middle of the night. So if I have complacent rule followers, blah 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 blah, who aren't pushing and bumping against, and who are misfits, and then you learn and then you focus them. Take this energy and focus them. So take whatever you are about yourself that maybe you're not sure about and focus it. Put it behind a magnifying glass. Put a magnifying glass in front of it. Focus it and beam it at something. And I promise you'll be able to do anything. So all right, let's get Vinky's working here. So now I'm at 3, 2, and 1. So now here's where my gun shy shot in the face right here, out of range. Boom. So I tweak this. Everything we do, we tweak. We're not wrong. Our solution is wrong. Change the solution. You're smart enough to come up with this, so just keep tweaking it. All right, so now here we are. So now I'm at minus 1. All right, see how close we are. All right, so I'm at 2 now. Okay, so then this is where the -1 comes in, because into this is exclusive. Into but not including -1. So now I'm at bingo. So now here's my solution. And this should be 100% correct. As a result of results. -1. I'm going here, carrying. But 124 plus 297, 421. We're starting at 2012. This should be. Let's print digit A, and digit B. Let's see what's going on. 4 and 7, 9 and 2, 4 and 7, 2 and 9. See, dyslexia, 2 and 1. All right. So then why aren't we getting total divided by 10? I felt like this was pretty good. Print total. All right, now let's print out total and see where we're going. Print. Oh, no, we got total. $11, right. And then carry total divided by 10, obtained. Wait a minute. I don't know if I think this is the reverse. You want to do the reverse here. Oh, wait a second. And then And then you're saying flip the result. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I see what you're saying. Is reverse in place? There we go. Does this work for 99? Will this work? Because we may have found 124 plus 297. Bingo. Love it. All right, so let's do 9. Will that work? Result. Oh. Result. Dot reverse. Print. Result. Let's see. All right, so you need to have a solve for this. Okay, but I like it. I like it. You got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. But look, no qualms with Vinky. Vinky is pushing the envelope to solve problems and get better. I'd like to point out that Vinky has solved numerous challenges before I have, and greatly assisted with this math right here for yesterday. So elegant, so clean. That is where I'm good at math. I'm not exceptional. When we start to head above, I can do pre-calculus and trigonometry pretty well. We start to derivatives and things like that, especially differential calculus or calculus 3. I can't even hang in there. So I think this was an awesome stream today. Thank you everyone for coming and to hanging out. I had a great time. I think we've covered a lot of material. I love that we have a core group of individuals. Makes me feel that we're really building a community that can help everyone who wants. Because I remember how I started, and I can tell you basically the beginnings of why I started this channel. I watched a couple things, took a couple classes, and I remember that it would be like, hey, write a function to take your name. Oh, I can do that. Okay, all right, cool. Then exercise 2. Write a solution to find the logarithmic blankety blank of the 17th prime number. And I was like, do what? So it's these professors who can do these amazing things, but they can't make it bite-sized. So that was actually the reason why the YouTube channel was created, was everything that I didn't know how to do, or the gaps between lesson 1 and lesson 2 and lesson 2 and lesson 3. I made a video on how to think about it and how to solve it and how to go from there. And that was the creation. No, I completely get it, Dax. I'm just grateful you're able to come and hang out. And today we probably the highest peaks that we've had. So here, let me show everyone what I see during the stream. And this is pretty cool. So this concurrent doesn't match this other one, but I'm able to see the spikes up on 142. I think this may be the most. So then I have another screen that says a different number of concurrent view. They don't match. It's up here. But I think this is pretty accurate, but I get to see this, and it's right beside all my chat. So everyone who gets to come and hang out, I really appreciate it. If you have a question, if you're not even sure, or even ask a question, hey, I learned how to do this. Hey, how do we do blah, blah, blah? Because if you just learned it, somebody else probably wants to learn how to do it. I know that sounds so cliche, but it is so true. People are starving for something, wanting to gain more self-confidence. Mine is improving, but But I also now know how to improve it, is that I need to just understand the topic in greater in depth. So whatever I'm speaking to, I have excuse me, I have the utmost confidence because I know everything about it. So I want you to think about when you typically go and speak to something and you're nervous or you're not sure. You also may not be as versed or you're not as prepared and you're uncomfortable because you know you're uncomfortable. But I promise you, the more that you dive into it, the more you'll be able to speak eloquently to it. And you also then won't care because you're the person imparting your knowledge. Subject matter expert, SME. Those people, like the subject matter experts, are sought after. They're so needed. They're so wanted. People want to have the smart people around them and say, hey, that person works for me, or I know that person. All right. The lighting is getting awful. I think if I do this, my eyes are getting bad, and we're about at 2 hours. I've really had a great time today. Thank you, everyone, for joining today, joining in the conversation, joining Discord, brainstorming. I absolutely love it. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I hope everyone has a good rest of your day. Those of you who are at the end of your day, hope you have a good night. Those of us who are just starting our day, hope your day finishes well, and I will see everyone tomorrow. Bye.